Good morning, you're listening to BBC Radio Solent. Alun Newman at breakfast. Now, Cancer Research UK's Race for Life returns to the South Coast this summer. I'll be on stage in Southampton on the 23rd of July as thousands and thousands of people unite with one purpose: to raise valuable funds for life-saving research. Let me introduce you to Dr. Hugo de la Pena. He's an oncologist at the University Hospital Southampton, and you're going to be opening the race with me on stage, telling your story. That's perhaps slightly unusual for someone in your profession.
Well, I don't know if it's unusual, but yes. I mean, when I was 13, I had like a golf ball size in my neck that grew very quickly. So they took that away and they said to me, well, this is a lymphoma. We don't know exactly what type of lymphoma it is, but it's a lymphoma. So because of that, it could be that this cancer is somewhere else. So I had a CT scan, and they did something that we still do sometimes, but not so much nowadays. It's called a lymphogram, where they cut your feet and they put a blue dye into your body to paint all your lymphatic system. So you're like a bit of a smurf for like 1 or 2 days. You're blue. And then you can see where the cancer is. So you could see that I have these golf ball size tumors all around my spine and very close to the aorta, which is the main artery. So pretty scary, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You could see like a Christmas tree inside me. And clearly there was a rush then to start treatment, because it was pretty remarkable. In order to start treatment, they wanted to take my spleen out, which is something that you do for some lymphomas. So I was nearly put into surgery to take my spleen out. And then in order to start the chemotherapy, the time was at the essence. So at the time, I was born in Mexico City, but then at the time we were living in the north of Mexico. So the quickest way to get the chemotherapy was to go to the States. So we went to the MD Anderson in Houston to buy the chemotherapy and bring it back to Mexico. That was the quickest way. So we did a bit of a trip to the States. We went to the MD Anderson, we got the chemo, and we got into these cans, which is like a space can or like a radioactive can, because clearly you cannot have chemotherapy in the back of your car and just drive it around. But because they had opened my feet, I was on a wheelchair. So I went on a wheelchair, got the chemo, went back. And then just before Christmas, let's say 1 or 2 weeks before Christmas, we got a phone call from Mexico City. And it was one of the histopathologists, and they said, have they started Hugo on chemotherapy? And my dad said, well, no, we start next week. So the histopathologist said, don't give it. Whatever you do, don't give it, because he doesn't have cancer. So what he has is something called Kikuchi syndrome. And Kikuchi syndrome mimics lymphoma in its entirety. Whoa. Apart from the fact that it's not malignant.
Oh my goodness. Who even has this story? What did you do then?
Well, you can imagine the sense of relief. I have never seen
I can't, Hugo. I can't. I mean, when you got the news, did your dad sit you down? Did they say, come to the table, Hugo? Or did they shout at the stairs, Hugo, you got to come down? I mean, how do you break that kind of news to someone who's living in terror?
We were on the same table with my dad on the phone. So I had never seen my dad cry until that day. And it was before Christmas. It was the best Christmas present ever. At that point, I said, okay, I need to understand. Once I knew I didn't have cancer, I said, okay, I need to understand what cancer is, what drives cancers, how do you treat it, how does it behave, cancer genetics. So from that point onwards, I said, I'm going to do medicine because I want to treat cancer. And because I thought, okay, if this happens to me again, I need to know what to do. Years down the line, my dad gets diagnosed with bowel cancer. And by then, I knew what to do. So I helped my dad get cured from cancer, from bowel cancer. So my dad was cured from bowel cancer. And the reason I do what I do is the same reason. I mainly treat breast cancer. And I treat breast cancer because it's the commonest cancer in women. And when you say it like that, commonest cancer in women, sometimes it doesn't mean anything. But when you say it's the commonest cancer in mothers, commonest cancer in grandmothers, commonest cancer in sisters, that's different.
You may recognise Hugo from a TV advert, believe it or not. Cancer Research UK does some really powerful TV adverts. Let me see if I can jog your memory.
Now, I don't know if you remember the first time we met, but one of the things I said is that we want cancers to melt away. Where you can see here, there is nothing there. This cancer has melted away with chemotherapy, okay?
That's good news.
1 in 2 of us will get cancer in our lifetime, but all of us can help beat it.
That's amazing.
We can't have missed these adverts on TV, but those moments you get are incredibly intense in the in the room with the client. That was Marianne there. People may remember that advert.
Yeah. What happened to Marianne is not an exception. She's kind of the rule. I'm very grateful for Marianne that she allowed us to film her consultation, because the consultation is real. Everything you see is genuine, is real. There's no rehearsal, there's no prescript. But the important message is that what happened to Marianne, that's the rule. It's not the exception. It's not that we picked a case that was just happy news. That's what happens all the time. Cancer is a brutal disease, brutal. There's no other way of putting that. It's brutal. But we cure cancer most days. That's not good enough. We need to cure cancer every day, and that's why clinical trials are the answer.
Gripping hearing you talk. In the studio as well is Georgina Ainsworth from Race for Life. Now, the Race for Life is coming up. It's on the 23rd of July in Southampton, Georgina. But what I would say is this. I think a lot of people see Race for Life in the newspaper. They see all the pictures and they celebrate other people doing it. It's always other people. And actually, it's super easy to get involved and be part of making a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's really inspiring listening to Hugo talk about his story and how we want to make cancer treatments kinder and to cure all cancers. I really love his determination. And Cancer Research UK will really want to see 3 in 4 people surviving cancer by 2034. So, we're there with you with that vision. And as you said, people can still go to raceforlife.org and sign up. So we've got loads of events happening actually on the 23rd of July. So we've actually got a 10-kilometre option, a 3-kilometre option and a 5-kilometre option for the Race for Life. But we've also got the Pretty Muddy happening as well. So that's the same route. It's a Pretty Muddy obstacle course. We bring in inflatable slides, we bring in mud and water, and it's a real good chance to just have a bit of fun. Come down with your friends and family. You can still sign up on the day as well. So you can sign up in advance, but you can still come down and sign up on the day and join in the fundraising and help us to beat cancer sooner.
It's probably one of the only events I ever go to that is really, really sad and really, really happy at the same time, and everyone is comfortable with that. If you haven't done it before, it is so no pressure. People wander through. I mean, we've hosted it together, haven't we? And there's been families coming through way late. Here they come, because they've just lost all the energy and they've walked through, but they've done it as a family. It's super easy to do. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you very much.